Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for watching the HotConflict.com video series. My name is Salim Siddiqui, and we're discussing the issue of the great Muslim celebration, the Eid al-Akbar, or the Great Eid. As you know, we said that Muslims all over the world are gathered together to pray and worship to the Lord Most High, bowing their heads down with all their families and their united ones all over the world, and all of them praying towards Mecca, the holy house in the Arabian Peninsula that Abraham and his son Ishmael built to worship the Lord Most High. And we said that on the HotConflict.com series, we're going to tell you the story in a strange way, and we're continuing with that story right now. If you don't understand what's going on and you haven't seen any of the past series, go back and listen to the story from the beginning, because what you are going to continue to hear is so strange and magnificent that if you don't understand the story from the beginning, you could get lost. But if you are listening still and following along in this story that we're calling the strangest story of the truth that has ever been told in the English language, then there is a chance that you just might get to see the truth of what is going on. So we said we were at a point that is dramatic in the story. There is always one thing we need to stress, and one thing that must be stressed above all else. The fundamental that everyone must always know, and that is, La ilaha illallah. There is only one God. And as we know, the fundamentals of the faith of the light have always been the same, that God, there is no God other than the God, and the term Allah in Arabic means the God. And as we said in previous parts, you can understand the terminology of Allah as meaning the God. But in English, there's always a lot of misconceptions about Islam. And of course, one of the things we do on the HotConflict.com website is always take away all of the misconceptions. So a Muslim is someone who says that they are submitting to the true will of the Lord Most High and understanding what it is that He wants and understanding the truth of the story. And that Islam is the religion of those who have submitted to the truth of the light if they truly understand the light. And we want to stay away from politics and names and groups. Whether you call yourself a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew, we want to stay focused just on the story and see if you can follow the signs. Because if the story of the truth is told clearly, and if Allah blesses me to be able to tell it, then you should be able to understand everything and see the clarity of the light for yourself. And so we said that there are fundamentals. God, the Lord Most High, created angels out of light with wings. They have no free will. They obey the commandments of their Lord, and there are many types. Allah, the Lord Most High, created other races called the jinn. They are known to us in Arabic as being smokeless fire or energy or plasma or electricity. They live here and are not visible to our naked eye. They are in another dimension or part of the unseen world, but they are also able to travel throughout the skies of the galaxy and the universe. As we know, they have wings and can move about and travel. And that Satan, Lucifer, was the most enlightened of their race at that time until the very creation of Adam. And it was at that time that we go back to the story of Adam, where this war between light versus darkness began. And Adam was taught the word by God, and Adam was brought to the court as the greatest of all the races. And so the war began here on earth, and we've continued to tell the fundamentals that Adam told us, that God taught Adam, that there would continue to be lines of prophets, and that all of the sons of Adam live and all of the sons of Adam die, and one day you would be raised and your soul would be judged, and you would get everlasting eternity of pleasure or reward based on your faith and understanding of the true light. But we said we're telling you a story that is strange, and so we've gotten to the point in the story where we said all stories and chains must come to an end, and we've been telling the tale of the prophets and the story of the truth of the light like you've never heard it before. And we've gotten to the point where we've said that a final messenger must come to the earth. And Muhammad, son of Abdullah, of Abdul Muttalib, of the descendants of Ishmael, is now being chosen. And we just left the part where the prophet received the first revelation as he was pondering and thinking the reality of the truth, as we ponder and trying to search for the meaning of life, as all of the children of Adam do. Allah, the Lord Most High, had chosen this great and noble man to be the final messenger. So he was told to read, and we know that the prophet could not even read. Read in the name of your Lord who created you. As we said, the evidence of our Lord is the one who created. And so when the word came, it showed the evidence. Read in the name of your Lord who created you, who taught mankind what he didn't know. The prophet was so heavily burdened by the weight. As we said, if you're listening to the story of truth and understanding the magnificence of the weight of the burden of the light, as all prophets, when they got the burden of the truth, it weighs heavy on them because now they know the truth of the light. He ran out of the cave, and when he came out of the cave into the light of the skies, there, for the first time, he saw the archangel Gabriel in his true form as Allah created him, visible in this dimension to his eye, and he had thousands of wings spreading across the skyscraper from the east to the west. And Gabriel said to him, you are being chosen as the final messenger of the Lord. Glad tidings upon you, O messenger of Allah, the Lord Most High. The prophet, shaken and disturbed at the weight, began to descend the mountain and returned quickly to his home, shivering with the truth of the knowledge of the light and the reality of the magnificence of this situation. His wife, a blessed and noble woman, Khadija, saw him and wrapped him up in a shroud and blanket and told him to sit and take it easy. What happens next is the sign of someone who gets the truth, and it is a warning that I give you and a blessing. For when the truth is told to you, and you will know the truth by the end of the story. When the truth is told to you, then it becomes incumbent upon you to relate the story of the truth of the light. Do not think by listening to me, ladies and gentlemen, that you can continue to listen without any burden. There is a burden for having knowledge, but the blessing is far greater. And when I reveal to you the answers that you are seeking, you will be so joyous in your state. There, sitting, shrouded and shivering, the messenger of the Lord Most High, not knowing what to do with the reality of the situation, immediately again, revelation came to him. O you who are wrapped up, stand for your Lord, as the commandment of God is always to act. You are a son of Adam. You must do something with your life. Stand for your Lord. Qum fa'andir, and praise your Lord, the Most High, and purify yourself and your body, as the sign of true light is always by those who are told, purify yourself. And what was the method of purification? As I told you, if you're paying attention to the sign, it is always by water. Stand and rise and purify yourself and shun, God revealed to him, shun all idols and pagan rituals and practices. Isn't that always the way the story of the truth of the light should be revealed to you? I'm not here to tell you to accept Islam. I'm just telling you the story and see if you understand it. Well, like I said, It is at this point, for those who really wish to seek the truth, that there is so much information that I cannot tell you everything. By the blessings of God, so much has been preserved from the knowledge of the messenger, from his statements and from the words, and from his actions, that any who wish to go seek the truth can find the chain of every single statement that I'm going to tell you. Nothing of the truth is ever hidden. It is always available right there for anyone to seek. That is the nature of the story of the truth. And so as I challenge you, as I myself challenge with the reality of the light, it is always that way. So never get deceived, O sons of Adam, in finding the light, because you know that deception is the way of darkness. And those who wish to really spread the truth of the word of the light and tell the story in reality, if they've ever understood the battle between light and dark that we said that we were on, that Adam, our noble father, told us that Satan, the leader of the other races of the darkness, will try to deceive you about the Lord. And as a son of Adam, forget calling me Muslim, but as a son of Adam, I will never say a lie about the Lord. And so we must go quickly through the signs of the prophet. As the prophet told his people, I am a messenger of the Lord, and I have been given the word of God. And it was made so that he could recite the words from his own soul and his own mind, even though he had never read in his whole life. A miracle so strange in and of itself, as every prophet is blessed with a miracle. But I told you that I'm going to tell the story in a way you've never heard before, so it must get stranger. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to me. I'm going to try and tell it quickly because there's so much information, and the burden of the truth is weighing on me that I must reveal it to you as has never been revealed before in the language of English, my mother tongue. Janice Clappinson. Janice Clappinson. Peace and blessings and glad tidings be upon you, my mother, whose language I am able to speak of the children of Adam. The signs come quickly, so listen to them, because I'm telling you so many things, and pay attention to the details. And everything that I am telling you is there for a reason. As someone who tells you the story of the truth of the light doesn't say anything haphazardly, God will not allow that. The next sign that the prophet says, as he is being rejected by his own people, as we have told you, you can go and see how rough and horribly his people treated him. They could not believe. We are the leaders of our nation. We had the best of everything. To reject all of our gods and all of our celebrations, to believe in the Lord Most High, one that you can't even see. That's ludicrous. It's terrible for marketing, by the way. Come on, Muhammad. You're a leader of the tribe. One day, you know, if you really focus, you might be somebody in the tribe. Oh, the story of the truth of the light can't be bought. Once you've seen the light, money doesn't matter to you. Money from this world. When I reveal to you the truth, you will understand why you have been misguided about money. Oh, I'm going to tell you everything, all of the answers to all of your questions like you've never heard before. So they offered him all kinds of things. He wouldn't accept it. Of course not. I don't care if you put the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left. You will not get me to stop saying the truth of the story. And the reason why that challenge is there is important. And so as they continue to reject him and continue to reject him, believers started to join in secret and listen to the words of God and listen to the story that the prophet was telling them. And they started to believe in secret and in hiding. But as all things get terrible, they started to get oppressed and suppressed. And the leaders of the tribes did not want to believe. And they questioned the validity of the truth of the message, as has happened always to every prophet of truth and every speaker of this story. As I am sure, will be challenged by many Muslims and said, oh, we who call ourselves Muslims think that this man, Salim Siddiqui, is insane? I swear by Allah it will happen. And it will be a blessed sign for me and my family. And so as they told the messenger of the truth that he was crazy and insane and must be talking to evil spirits and all kinds of demons and God knows he must be possessed, we can never accept this ludicrous thing. While the prophet of the Lord is telling you, I'm telling you the story of the truth of the light, but nobody will listen. So it comes to the next point in the story which we must address. That the challenge is made to prove that you are a messenger of the Lord Most High. And we said that this prophet, as we know from our tale, is going to be the seal of the prophets, the final messenger, the final bearer of the truth. So with that, there must come miracles that are so dramatic and understandable and verifiable to this very day. Because the strangeness of the story would not be believed unless the truth can be well known. So some Jews, some Christians, some leaders of various kinds came to the prophet and said, what? Challenge you, prove it. Now the prophet had done different things and borne the message of the truth in a language that was more beautiful than any of the people could speak at that time, even though he himself had been a person who did not know how to read, a miraculous nature of the Quran, but we will talk about that in a little bit. But now we get to a dramatic miracle that is recorded in history. And it is a fundamental in the signs that you must understand. They challenged the prophet to make a sign that is so clear to them that he is the bearer of the truth, of the light, the one true God. So let's go back to our fundamentals. There is only one God. La ilaha illallah, as we've said. He is the Lord who has created the universe and everything that is in it. There are no powers or beings or aliens or jinns or any other power that is greater than the power of the Lord Most High. The prophet performs an act that is made to demonstrate the truth of the message. As all of the people are gathered for the challenge, the prophet shows them in the very skies of our planet that the moon that we look up at, while it is full, is separated in half. What? That can't be right. I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the truth of this story in a way you have never, ever heard of it before. Go check the records for yourself from the greatest people of your own knowledge, the reality of the nature of the moon, and see, perhaps they tell you the truth, perhaps they misdirect you. We are in a battle between the dark and the light. What did we say? There are fundamentals of the faith. There's only one God. God created the angels. God created the jinns. God created Adam, and of Adam he will have descendants. Of them there will be prophets, all bearing truth of the word, of the light. All mankind live, all mankind die. You will be raised and judged, and there is eternal life after that, and punishment, reward. And all of this is the plan of the Lord. And so what must happen? A sign must come that we have said we are sending the final messenger to all of mankind. We are not talking about the children of Israel anymore. We are not talking about just those who follow Jesus. We are not talking about just that line of Isaac. The prophet is given a noble gift to be the last prophet, bringing the word of the truth for all of mankind. And so he is given a sign of the splitting of the moon so that all of mankind can see. Some believed, some disbelieved. The moon was split and the moon was returned. Go look through the ancient text and see 1500 some years ago in ancient Japan or China, did they notice the splitting of the moon? The information is always there, as a story of the truth can never be a lie. And the truth must always be easily available to all those who search. Now, to go through the story quickly, because I want to tell you the truth of the light so that you know it. We have to go through the story quickly because it is so long and deep, and there's so much information that I can't tell you everything. They have tried to destroy the prophet. At one point, they even tried to kill him. As we know, the last messenger who bore the light was almost to be killed by those who rejected Jesus, son of Mary. But before he was to be killed, what happened? He ascended as God had destined. And so the messenger of Allah, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, they, the people of Mecca and the leaders of the tribe, had decided that it is now time to get rid of this person, otherwise he will destroy our ways. And so they plotted to kill him. But the prophet escaped, and to make a long story short, we can't get into all the details of the story that are even crazier. As I said, the truth of the light and the weirdness of the tale is always stranger than any fiction. But there are parts that we can't go into. But the prophet escaped, and you can read about how it was done. And he went to a new city called Medina, where they welcomed him. A city called Yathrib, actually, and then later on it became known as Medina, or City of the Prophet. And there they began to continue to give the message and preach the word of the light and the story of the fundamentals. There is only one God, there are angels, there are jinns, there are prophets with messages of the word. I am the seal of the prophets, giving you the word of the Lord, the Quran. All of mankind lives, all of mankind dies. We will be raised one day on the day of judgment by your Lord Most High, and there is no one who can be the judge other than him, and there is punishment and reward in heaven and hell. We've been through the fundamentals, and I keep repeating them so that you understand, because it's an important part of the story. But it is at this point something even more dramatic has to occur. If we have said that the truth of the prophet must be there in all the signs, then we must know that the prophet, of course, had received dreams of the light and understood the meaning of the dreams, just like Joseph did. The prophet, of course, had communicated with Gabriel and seen the angels and had been given the word, but we'll get to the Quran in a little bit in this story. But we get to a point that is very, very dramatic. It is at this point that we get to a story, and I will tell it with quick detail so that you understand the truth. We get to the point in the story where the prophet, for the first time of mankind, of all of the sons of Adam, no one has ever ascended other than Jesus, son of Mary. And the prophet is blessed with a noble occasion. The night journey and ascension of the Prophet Muhammad. Now listen to the story because it tells you all of the tales. From his home in Medina, he is taken in body and put and told by the angel Gabriel and shown one of the other creations that Allah, the Lord Most High, has made, which is a horse with wings that is able to fly. And upon that he goes from Medina, the city of the prophet, where? He goes to the holy house in Jerusalem, because at this point on the earth the pagans are still in control of the holy house of Abraham. And there are evil, idol-worshipping people there. Even though the Lord's name, Allah, is still being said, the only true house of the Lord on this earth at that moment, being worshipped to the one true God, is the house of Solomon in Jerusalem. Because the Jews, even though they have become misguided and disorganized and in disarray and have even rejected Christ, they have not forgot the one fundamentals. And I'm telling you this as a beauty of the story to those who call themselves Jews. They had remembered the fundamental of the light, which is what? There is only one God. And so the Muslims respected that as the holy place on the earth. Surprising part of the story that you wouldn't hear from people. But I'm telling you this story as part of the truth. Forget the labels and just see if it makes sense in the whole story. But this is what all those who call themselves Muslims believe. There, when the Prophet arrived at the holy house in Jerusalem, this is where everybody who teaches you that the message of the Prophet Muhammad is different than the chain in the story that we have told you is untrue. And the proof of what? The blessing that Muhammad was shown on that night should make the story clear for all of you who are searching for the light. There in the holy house of worship to the Lord, the only house of worship in existence on the earth, worshiping only the Lord Most High, the temple that Solomon had built and what is remaining of it, there the Prophet was greeted by a most noble and amazing gift that no prophet had been given to this time. We said that each prophet must be given something more amazing and strange. There in the holy temple, when he arrived with Gabriel and got off this animal that we called Buraq, which in Arabic means lightning, an animal that moves from one place in the earth to another place in the earth, and it's called lightning. Perhaps we should be looking to the skies. The Prophet descended from this ride that Allah, the Lord Most High, had made, as Allah, the Lord Most High, is the creator of everything that is in the universe. All that is in the universe. He is the Lord Most High. There in the holy temple, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, found every single prophet of the light there within the temple. Can you imagine the beauty and the majesty of that occasion? Every single prophet, from Adam and Noah, and all those in the tale that we have recounted, and those who we have not, in the long story that is the truth of the light, all of them who bore the word, La ilaha illallah, which means what? There is only one God. He is not an image, a triangle, a symbol, or anything that the mind can imagine. He is great and holy and above all of his creation. The only way to understand him is to know of the light. There the Prophet prayed with all of the believers that the Lord Most High had sent, from all of the descendants of Adam. I have told you, ladies and gentlemen, so many times to stay focused on the story. This is a war of light versus darkness, between good versus evil, between those who believe in the light and those who seek to misdirect you and deceive you with the dark. And so there, the final messenger gathered with all the believers of the light, and he stood before all of them and led them all in prayer. And all of them in the noble house that Solomon had built, including Solomon himself, and all of the prophets bowed their head and worshipped the Lord Most High. Can you imagine the magnanimous nature of the story of the truth that you are hearing? I must take a break. Please excuse me.